Hello and welcome to EVE Online. My name is Matilius258, in-game character name Saris Van Dalen. This is the PvP video of EVE Online 101. This video is mostly about the basics of PvP, how to start out, just kind of looking through all the kinds of ships that exist in EVE and what they actually can and cannot do, and whether or not they're good for PvP in the first place as well. And then also recommending some places to go that are probably a lot better than listening to me at the moment to get the hang of PvP and fitting and whatnot. Alright, so to begin, places to go to just simply find ship fittings, find ships as well, and kind of, I guess through observation, learn how to fit ships and what kind of ships are popular for people to be using. I don't have it. Okay. The site is called Battle Clinic. Just write EVE so I get that one. What? That's not what I wanted. So, this is what it looks like in-game. Looks, I believe, slightly different. I haven't been on it for a while, so it might have updated. This is what it looks like in-game. But since you're learning, you kind of want to go here to loadouts. So, load. So when you get to the loadouts page, this is basically where you're going to start learning how to fit ships. So, I guess the easiest way to start doing stuff would be kind of, I guess, looking for the highest rated stuff and then seeing what it does. After that, putting filters on things so you get what your skills are bonus towards. So like, for example, if you do a lot of drone skills, putting drone boat would be a good idea. If you want it to be used for fleet, you probably want to have fleet checked. Or if you're going solo. And then you can do different kinds of tanks, what it's for, blah 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 blah, etc, etc, etc. And you can also change the release date, so you can get the most up-to-date fitting that you can. So that's the first place I'm going to say you need to go. Second place that you need to go is the ship browser. Just simply in-game. So this is basically where I'm going to go. Okay, you've been to Battle Clinic, so now you know ships that people use and what they fit them with, all different kinds of variants. Okay, now say you want to be, I don't know, daring, and want to just take a random ship off of EVE and then fit it properly and go out and start fighting. Okay. Well, which ships do you pick? That's a hard question. The best way to think about it is each ship is specialized. So, getting PvP related specializations on your ship is already a good step. First step done. So, that's good. Then understanding what the ship can do, what you want it to do, whether or not it can do what you want it to do, you know, stuff like that. So, I'm going to take the Condor. I mean, it's a frigate, it's one of the Caldari base frigates, and there's a variation with kind of the same themed stats for every race? Faction. Empire. No. You know what I mean. So, the Condor. Okay, so what are its bonuses? Well, when looking at the Condor, it has a bonus to light missiles and rocket damage. Okay, so that means you're going to be using either light missiles or you're going to be using rockets. And kinetic, because, well, it says they should be kinetic. So, bonus damage where it should belong. And this propulsion jamming, which means you can run a whole bunch of other systems for much, much longer. You could possibly, if you wanted, make the thing stable too, so you don't have to worry about your cap running out in a unnaturally long PvP battle. So we know what we can fit on it and what we should. So we know we should be using either missiles or rockets and something to point, to tackle, and whatnot. So what else should we know? Well, armor and shield, of course. So armor hit points 250. Frigate, so makes sense. Shield capacity 400. I think we're shield tanking. So we know it's going to be shield tanked, and we know we're not going to be army tanking it, because that would be the dumbest thing you could possibly do. Not playing to its strengths. What else do we know? Well, it says rocket damage. And rockets are a close-range weapon system, so we know that. So that kind of means that we can, yes we can, because it has a very nice inertia modifier. It means we can speed tank this thing, so we don't really have to worry about missile attacks. And we don't have to worry about other weapon systems, because they might not actually be able to hit us if we outrun their tracking speed. So now we know the Condor can do close range, and it can do long range, because light missiles. So propulsion jamming, so you might want to use a disruptor, because pairing it with the light missiles have a much longer range. Therefore disruptor, which has a bigger range, would be better. Rockets, you'd probably want to use a warp scrambler, because it's a closer range thing. So if you're speed tanking, you can get really close to him and you can just circle to death of him. So that's two fittings. Let's see, fitting. What do we got for fitting? That's also quite important. Output, input, blah blah blah. Okay, 3 hardpoints. And no turret hardpoints. So that means we're just going to be using rockets. Makes sense. 4 high power. Oh. That means the 4th could be used for something else, maybe, possibly. Or not. Could be left blank. 4 medium, also reflecting the shield tanking thing, but that's more or less 3. Because we definitely want to have a point on here, so 3 medium power slots, and low power, low power, so... Okay, so that's a Condor, so we know 2 fittings. It's either a close range speed tank, or it's a long range point and I guess pepper with missiles. Okay, well, this is definitely just a PvP ship, so that's quite obvious. Okay, how about something different? How about something like, I don't know, something weird. How about... Well, I'm just going to do frigates, because frigates are easy. How about the Heron? I could have chose better, couldn't I? Okay, so, again, looking at ships for their PvP possibility. Alright, so... What is the Heron for? Exploration. Whoops. So, just coming here, you'd probably think, oh, not a good PvP ship. I probably use this. Okay. Attributes. What does it got? It's got band. Oh, it has drones. That's a nice little bit of damage. Small. Or you could get rid of damage entirely and just go for ECM, in which case they can't even shoot at you if they're small enough. Shield. Shield is the winner, so it's definitely a shield tank. Scan resolution 430. That's pretty good. So we know that it would be able to lock on. Its inertia modifier, 3.57. It's better to be lower or higher? Whoops. Higher. That's even more nimble than the Condor. Wow. Okay. So it's nimble, that's for sure. Not sure how that would help you though. Let's see. Traits, that didn't help. Fitting. Guns or hardpoint launchers? 3 high power slots. Okay, so I'm gonna think this thing probably wants 2 hardpoint launchers, because with, say, rockets, they have a very high DPS. Turrets. I might want to change out the turret idea for something else, maybe like a energy weapon. Try and attack their capacitor, maybe. Medium power, definitely going to be doing something with the medium power. Definitely shield tanking, because this thing probably will be caught off guard. I doubt it'll be able to move. Well, it can move, but possibly, oh, ECM maybe. If I jam them. It's got a very nice CPU, so that might be possible. Well, for PvP, I guess as a solo situational, I would have to say that it would be a terrible idea for PvP to use this ship. But maybe you could use it for a reverse exploration gig. Maybe. So like, if somebody comes out to try and kill you, you turn the tables and you start killing him. Maybe. That would be kind of cool. Huh. Oh well. Okay, so these are frigates. So, what about something bigger? Something like, I don't know, let's try something else. How about something like a battleship? How about something like the, I don't know, the Dominics? Why would this be good? Because this is actually a good ship. It's used, for me at the moment, it's popular and it's used as mainline PvP. It's a battleship. It's expensive. It's one of the most expensive, actually. Yeah. So it's a big ship. It's slow, it's bulky, its guns are terrible. Why would we be using this? Well, what has it got? It's got hit points to drones and damage to drones. So it's a drone boat, so you want to be using, so maybe your damage isn't from guns, maybe it's from drones. Okay, that's easy. It's a drone boat. Optimal range and tracking speed. It's a sniping gunboat, possibly. Or, well, no, that works both ways. Close range. You just be able to help them hit their target. So it's a drone boat. Now we're going to be using drones. Let's see, what else? Armor hit points versus shield. Armor wins. Definitely going to be hull tanking. Okay. So it's a drone boat that hull tanks. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, for one, you don't have to worry about your capacitor being taken up by the guns, and you don't have to worry about the drones really very much, since they'll do stuff automatically. You just have to kind of keep them alive a little. In which case, your entire capacitor could go towards either hitting the target, which won't take very much, but mostly just keeping you alive. So the tank would be amazing. Fitting, ignore that. But since it's drone boats, you can use the high power slots and replace them all with something like drone links to increase your range. Let's see, what else? Mid power slots, just, I guess, increase your range, maybe help your capacitor in case it's hurting a little. Low power slots, well, it's an armor tank, so those go to tanking completely. And maybe drone damage bonus, possibly, maybe. So that's basically how you tell. I mean, you look at a ship and you see what its base traits are. So yeah, pretty simple. Just don't go and think, oh, epithal. Yeah, I'll put a big gun on it to kill everything. No, that's not how it works. So, types of play. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, so types of play, what does that mean? Okay, so we know ships can have different kinds of fittings. We know they have different kinds of bonuses towards a certain area, and that reflects both your playstyle and also the playstyle intended by the fit you've put on it and the ship itself. So, I guess if you're in something that's meant to be close range and spins around your enemies a lot and repairs damage that you take every once in a while, or is just actually a very, very tanky ship anyways, then you're going to be playing kind of like that. Close range, tanking, drone boats would excel at this, stuff like that. So you wouldn't use, say, the Naga, for example. Where is it? There it is. You wouldn't use the Naga filled with railguns, for example, for long range 200 kilometers engagements. So there's that. Then there's also just how you play. I mean, do you like to sit back and snipe, or do you like to also be with the ship, like, I don't know, the Ishkar? I think that's it. Or is it the Enyo? One of those. And be like really up close to somebody, hugging them, spinning around them, making it so they can't hit you, do your speed tank, and peppering them with your missiles, your guns, your drones if you have them. Like, for me, for example, I like to stay back, I like to snipe. I don't like to be really close. I like to keep a distance. Because instantly that kind of sort of halves the chance of them being able to even hit me effectively. But that's just my opinion. That's just how I play. That's my thought process. But at the same time, I also use a Dominix, and I'm using right here for this PvP Drake an active shield fit with close range missiles. So it's something you kind of have to feel for yourself, I guess, and learn with the ship, with what it can do. Kind of like, I don't know, getting a new car and then seeing what it can and can't do. Except, you know, without possibly endangering life. But, you know, you get the point. How to start out. Oh, I love my checklist. It's a lovely checklist. Anyway, how to start out with PvP. Okay, so I'm going to assume you're in HiSec. I mean, I'm going to assume you're a new player. That's why you're watching this video. So, you're in HiSec, and you've been getting around, you've been doing the tutorial, you got into some kind of career. So, personal experience, I got into mining. So, I didn't really have anything going into PvP, so I kind of started new, which kind of didn't help at all. But on the side, I did missioning, so that helped for my PvP skills, because as you increase the need to make more damage as you go up in levels, or, yeah, mission levels, you need to increase what kind of weapon systems, how much damage they can do, etc., 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 etc. So, you already have PvE skills from that, so you don't have to kind of worry about it. So you already have some kind of stockpile. But after that, you have to kind of wonder what you can do with that after you've done missions thousands of times. So you go into PvP. Well, you already have a stock of that. So, what am I pointing? Right. So my point is, if you're a new player, you're in high sec, so you don't have to worry about somebody coming by and shooting you like you do in null sec or low sec, just because they can. So that's nice. They can bait you, but you've been baited, so it's your fault. Sorry. So you're in high sec, you've done missions, so those skills are already training, so that's handy. But now that you've gone into, now you're wanting to go into low sec or just jump straight to null sec, what do? Well, honestly, I'm gonna say you continue doing what you've been doing, and that is missioning. Or, in my case, continue doing what I was doing, which was mining. So, that's kind of counterintuitive, but this is where my point comes in. When you do PvP, when you first start out, you're going to die. I'm sorry, but you are going to die. You will have help maybe from a PvP corporation. Good for you. That helps. But you're still going to die a few times. So you don't jump into a battleship, like the Hyperion, for example, go out into nullsec, and then expect to destroy everything. So keep that in mind. I've had a Dominix destroyed by a frigate because I was fit for PvE, not PvP. But just because I'm in a bigger ship doesn't mean I was going to win. And the reason I got caught because I was stupid, blah 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 blah, long story. But yeah, anyway, so do what you'd continue doing, so mining or PvE. So in low sec and null sec, that would be anomaly running instead of missions. Or if you're in that weird space, still missions, but that's kind of a death trap. So the reason you do that is before you leave high sec, buy, I don't know, just a blueprint copy with several runs of a certain frigate, like the Condor, or the Tristan, or the Rifter, or what's an Amar ship? The thing with the I don't use Amar, so I don't know. I'm gonna find the name. The Executioner, for example, and like get a blueprint copy with, like, say, I don't know, 5 runs, and then do some PvE or do some mining, and then make them. They're cheap ships. They didn't cost you very much. In the case of PvE, you even got money for the bounties, so that's even better. So you do that, you got all the raw resources from like PvE, from mining, and you put them together, you get a ship, and now you have 5 new executioners that you can lose because they're cheap ships, so it doesn't matter. So you learn through that instead. So instead of losing a big battleship, you just lose 5 little frigates, which equate to maybe a fraction of what the actual battleship would have cost you. Which is nice. But so yeah, you need to expect to die. That is what I'm saying. So start small. Start frigates. You can, I guess technically Tech 2 frigates is okay as well, especially for the stealth bombers, I have to admit. Stealth bombers for starting out in PvP is actually a rather good idea. Especially for solo PvP, though. So yeah. Just start with frigates. Don't start with battleships, please. Why am I begging you? I want to be able to kill your battleship. You didn't hear that? Okay. Moving on. What's next? Oh, right. Okay. How do I put this? Okay, so I've gone over how everything kind of works. So I went over where to go. So like Battle Planet, for example. I didn't mention this, but like things on YouTube, so which might be boring, they might not be very good. Okay, that's not a lie. They're actually good. It's just you might not have a clue what's going on, because there's a lot maybe going on. Like if it's a fleet PvP, there's more going on than in solo PvP. But I guess I should say that I'm not really that good at PvP. I'm at the stage where I'm at the frigate stage. I'm still learning. I need to start losing ships to start learning what does and doesn't work. And I actually need to go buy some those blueprints so I can start building those ships. But other than that, listening to me, you are really only going to get the basics. You're not going to get any professional-ish kind of stuff that says, you do this, you put A and B together, and you will get C, and C will actually be equal to K, which means kill. Where am I going with this? I do not know everything about this subject, especially. Mining, sure. PvE, almost sure. Industry, yes. Exploration, definitely. But PvP is kind of a gray area. Still. Like, I get in fleets and stuff, but still, I'm not the best person to go to. I mean, I guess I didn't even mention that. Fleets. This is so scatterbrained. Okay, fleets, for example. That's even a different playstyle in itself. I mean... Okay, I'm gonna like bring up the fitting for this ship, the Crow, which by the way is kind of like the Condor Plus. For solo PvP, I would probably want to have like a cloak or something that just makes it so it's harder to catch me. And I would probably want rockets, I would want a scrambler, and I would want something close range because this thing is fast, this thing is agile, and if I'm like tackling big ships, they can't really do anything to me because they can't really catch me unless they have drones, in which case I'm doomed. But that's a different story entirely. But I would fit it completely different. I would also probably put an active fit, or more buffer actually, and rely on speed some more, which I already do, and try to mitigate damage through that. But this is for fleet, where I'm expecting or relying on fleet members to keep me alive. And I will keep the prey where it is for them. And I guess help with a little bit of ECM, but hey, that's on the side. I had extra space. But yeah, it's completely different. I mean, fleet PvP, you're required to do something else. You're required to rely on people. You're required to contribute something other than just raw DPS, unless you're the raw DPSer, in which case you're really relying on somebody to keep you alive. Solo, it's all you. You are the only one there, so you have to think a little bit more. You have to think, what am I going to be doing for if I get attacked and it's going to eat through a buffer, so there's no point of using a buffer. Use an active tank, I guess. That's what I did with the Riel Meyer. I'm sorry, the Drake. I put an active fit on it, so I'm relying on my active fit to keep me going. For at least 2 minutes. Wait. Oh no, it's stable. So my active fit will keep me alive, that's what I'm hoping. However, it's still not really assured, I guess. Because, I mean, I'm still solo, but they can still break my tank, for example, or something. Like anything, really. So, it's really what you're going to be doing. If you're going into solo PvP, you want to really invest into specific skills, know what you're going into. I mean, there's so many skills in this, I'm not even going to bother listing them all, so you have to think about all of that. Help from corp mates, you have help from the friends you're with, possibly, and you're not having to think. You're not trying to make your ship do as much. You just need it to do one, possibly even two things. So, that's different. So, yeah. So I guess it's the end. So I'm gonna recap real quick. Go to YouTube, go to Battle Clinic, go to watch Wingspan TT's videos, for example. He does really good stealth bomber, solo PvP kind of stuff. So that's a good place to go. Understanding the ship. So like going through the browser and just looking at random ships and then seeing whether or not they're even a good idea. And trying to learn how to fit them through, I guess, ideas, I guess. In which case you might want to look at Pyfa, which is actually a very good idea to mention, so Pyfa. Look for that. That's a ship fitter, so use that and you'll be able to see if these things will even work before you even have to spend any ISK, so that's good. Types of play. Right, yeah, distinguishing how you're going to do it. Solo. Are you going to do it fleets? Are you going to do it up close? Are you going to do it at a little bit of a range? Are you going to do it at Naga, Sniper, Long Range, Eagle Eye, Sharpshooter? Not even on grid anymore kind of range. How to start out. Right. Getting BPCs or just buying a whole bunch of really small frigates and stuff and fitting them out with the bare minimum of stuff so you don't lose much, you're not risking much, but you still get the experience. And then take that and then start slowly building on it into bigger ships. So now I'm going to be showing you a video. This is back when I first started out with PvP. I'm in a stealth bomber, I'm in the Manticore, and I have just figured out, no, not figured out, I have just found a Mackinac sitting in space all by its lonesome. Mackinac is also a Tech 2 mining barge, so I was like, yes! It also didn't have very much defenses and blah blah blah, and I was looking on my directional scanner, as you can see, that there's not much, except I did see there was a capsule, so I was thinking, oh, okay, so maybe there's somebody nearby. Was looking him up and all that, blah 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 blah. The usual things some people do in PvP. Okay, so I'm continuously hitting that scan button just so I make sure nothing's happening, and I have my tactical overlay, so I know where everything is. I'm making sure that there are no collidable objects anywhere, and I'm also trying to figure out what would be the best way to kind of sneak up on them, I guess. And so now I'm starting to come up to it. I'm going to say this now because I have a feeling some of you have just noticed it, or have noticed it just as soon as this video came. Despite my amazing engagement on this Mackinac, it's not that amazing. I didn't notice that I was back in high sec. If you look in the top left, it says 0.5, which is high sec. And I was thinking, well, no, I wasn't thinking, actually. That's the best reason. So here's Concord. Concord shows up and just insta-kills me. So, click, jumping away. Don't know why I jumped to Stargate. That was stupid. I was still new at PvP. I just got the thing anyways. Anyway, I was roaming around in low sec for about like 2-3 hours or something, trying to find something to shoot, and I couldn't find a thing. So I started courting a roost back home through high sec, because I was like, okay, I'm done. And I thought, okay, last system, If I don't find anything, I'm not going to find anything for the rest of the day. And I don't know how, I somehow messed up point 0.5 with point 0.4 or something, and I was thinking, ooh, messed it a bit near. Stop reading. It's a point 0.4 system. I can start engaging. No. No. Keep track of that security status, or else Concord kills you. So that was fun. While you can see my little pod just kind of moseying along, I was really confused because all of a sudden I couldn't get through the Stargate. I was like, what? And I was looking up the timers and it said, engaging with a player, I cannot go through for the next few minutes and stuff, and that was bad. So I'm gonna now coming up on the video are some screens from a fight that I had just recently. Actually, I was in a big alliance battle. This was a bad idea, and good advice for you too. Okay, so I'm not very good at PvPing with friends, with allies, so it was like totally overwhelming. I was in a crow, I didn't have the ship of the line, so I was definitely targeted because I was one of the weird ones out. And this battle got like huge. Well, huge for me, I should say. So, because like all of a sudden, there were ships everywhere, spider tanking every which way. I was just thinking, oh my god, I am in the wrong place right now. And it just kind of continued like that for a long time, and eventually capital ships appeared, like Nixes and stuff, and I was like, okay. And then all of a sudden a Titan appears, I'm like, ah, crap. This is a big battle. So that was actually one of the worst experiences of my life, because I couldn't click on anything, because since there were so many ships going on and so much just having to be rendered on screen, my frame rate dropped to 0. So I couldn't even click on anything, I couldn't do anything. So there's a handy tip for you in PvP. If you're going with a fleet, just do yourself a favor and churn your settings down. I have a decent computer, and I thought, okay, I haven't tested this thing out, I might as well try it now. Oh my god, I should have listened to the guy who was the guy commanding everybody. He was going on about saying, guys, turn your frame rate down, go to the bathroom, etc., etc. We don't want you leaving, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, went to the bathroom, it's fine, keep my settings up, I have a decent computer. It's terrible. Couldn't even click on anything. It's like, target this guy. Found his name and the hundreds of other people on the list, started locking him up, and just it was not fun. But hey, that was just my experience. It was first experience having a fight this scale. I mean, if you look in the local chat, it has its number for how many people there are. It's cut off slightly, but that's actually the beginning of 900. And my fleet only has 167 people, and all those blues are allies. It's, oh my, space penises everywhere. Ugh. So that was fun. That was terrible. So I just wanted to show you that because PvP in EVE is definitely something you want to get into. It's something you will kind of be forced to get into. You need to shoot stuff, and if not, something will shoot you first. So that's just how the game goes. Especially if you go into nullsec, because an alt even has to have some kind of gun on it. So I just wanted to show you those, see that it's actually not that hard finding big battles in EVE, which is, I guess, for some people what they heard about and came to try it out and liked the game and actually stayed, but wanted to get into these big fights and stuff. And it's like, Yeah, they're not that rare. What? No, they're not that rare actually. So that's all from me. See you next time.